It goes on. They danced by the river under the bridge where candles constantly burned in remembrance of Chris, without whom we'd never have known. The river flows, but the ocean awaits, and he was found in the notebooks, a note at the bottom of the page. A young man, but at an old age, searching for records, details of whom, who did what, did it when, before entering the tomb. He wanted to know, he needed to know why George was 2, 19629 and 7162. Now, I also needed to know. Could it be, I pondered? The date makes it real. He's possibly out there. Well, we'll see what turns the wheel.
I'm tired of this now, this introspection turning to outrospection. When is it enough, long enough, not long enough, I suppose. I sit here in Pier 23, tap my fingers on the bar. I have no idea. Some of the weird things that people do, why they do them, maybe that's why. Why not? Writing now, write my lack of understanding, order, structure, comfort, make it fit into a verse. So it's unclear to me, but clear. This old bar is old wooden bar, old bar, dark is here, is home like any home on earth, were it in Aberdeen or New Orleans, French Quarter, jazz drifting smug into night air. A happy couple walks by. He is black in a uniform. She is white and nicely dressed. This is love. This is love. This is in their smiles. My afternoon meeting with Jack Daniels leaves me softened, sipping my contemplation of this old bar, wooden bar. People carved their initials in this old wooden bar top, carved GC and MC, arrow through inside a broken heart. Jack was here, and so was Sally too. Judged by the scars they left upon this old bar in the middle of the day. I'm drinking in the middle of the day. In the middle of the day, I'm drinking. I'm tired of writing death poems, dead poems. Everything is death, dying, miserable, dark. Don't know where I'm going or why. I know I have to go. I have to move. This is the first place to sit in a place without. Gone only since March. Pandemic, pandemic, pandemic. On my knees, fists raised to heavens, socially distanced, drain it, pandemic. But you're not here. So the guy 7 feet away, we do not drink together, social, not stories to trade. I touch the surface of the bar, fingering numbers carved in the bar, 19629 and 7162. Wonder what the numbers mean, just a puzzle, if anything. Last drop of JD burning on the way. Revel in images that come to me out of blue. Little girl on the riverbank with 2 willow branches, playing sways, making up songs as she sings. Which willow, which willow, which willow will it be? Which willow, which willow, which willow marry me? On my feet, turning to the door, I see a handsome couple. Something makes me follow, but on this street, I cannot find them anymore.
Time to move. Get out from behind my desk. Put my detection to the test. I know a Chris. It couldn't be him, though, could it? Jazzman. When I say I know, I mean I'm aware of. Who I know and who I'm aware of are not always the same. And jazz is not always the same. But he's been known to hang out at Mars, the little bar at the front, keeping his own company with his notes and family tree, looking back in history, eyes darting back and forth, as if looking for someone, but not wanting someone, just looking. I've seen him in passing, a glance at the dark-skinned man from not around these parts. Maybe. Got to be there before 6. Too cold for outside. Can't get close. Don't want the ball to touch me. Knock me down. Empty, too late. The deserted streets make it difficult to hide, and inside it's still empty. I glance through the small lattice windows of indeterminate age, and wait on the ground inside, under the table, entering, still empty. The bar is separate from this room, but it's bright, all bright, no gloom. I place my hand on the table to assist and rest my knee on an old wooden kist, reaching up, picking up a stub, now a bus ticket, from not round here, not this year, writing unclear but old, and there on the chair, on the rear, scratched, one, is that one? But definitely a 9, something in between, unseen due to age, smoothed, removed by time, and another beside. 7162. Now that's clear. A feeling, though, that I'm being watched from the empty street.
Tragedy changes the trajectory. The orbit I was on, gravitational pull destroyed, float free in space, drift alone, or find some other body looking for some other orbit to fall into, sort of like me. I dream of finding a galaxy of twins, traveling. I'd go hunting for comfort, for release, visiting places of the past. I go haunting to see inside, to see outside, begin writing again. It is art painted with words. Since I was a boy, I painted. Even after they tried to stop me, I painted the sun red. I find myself below sea level, miserable and lost. Buy my poetry so I can sell it. Rings in my ears from Royal Street, Vieille Carré, Old Square, Vieille Cour, Old Heart, the French Quarter around Mardi Gras. The orbit I seek is seeking me. Jackson Square, Marvel, St. Louis Cathedral. One of the first things I painted, green pears disappear off the horizon. I haunted the junkies, scratching for a fix, itching on the corner, nearly toothless. My brother, you are me. Cafe du Monde beckons, yelling, calling me. I follow trance-like, do beignets and chicory. It's time for magic, time for unfolding, sitting in sunlight, streaming, sipping, revel about when I was an actor. A playwright told me once there is magic that everyone knows is just a trick, and there is real magic. From what I took, a worthy practitioner strives to conjure magic that is real and to see it when it is right in front of you. On the veranda at the Café du Monde, socially distant, I see a handsome man. As it turns out, we will be part of each other's lives. We talk. I learned he grew up in Alabama, a Marine War vet, gone to college on the GI Bill, has a genealogy degree. He is restless. He is haunting too, trying to get to the bottom of the mystery. Wants to explain this zoo. Tells me he's trying to untangle the mystery of Mary Cotton and George Calloway. We talk for hours. Below the sea level, next to the Mississippi, I see his clarinet. We talk about his Preservation Hall jazz band gig. Now he is excited to take his searching to Vicksburg, up and across the mighty river. Grinning, he shows me bus ticket number 1552.
From time to time, the feeling exists ever since I found the notes. There surely must be more to this, more to share, if I care. Still, I tramp the city streets, dull, grey. A strange smell permeates the air like rancid dogfish. Another day to care, another memory to seek, another barrier to breach. Dullness only broken by the sound of a clarinet. A street corner clarinet. Turning the corner, the sound is louder, the smell is lesser, the player is visible, the player is familiar. He looks up and stops and smiles. Hey, I hear you've been looking for me a while, and blows another note. St. James Infirmary Blues. I remember when this was written, he said. Did you find my ticket? His wicked smile beguiled. Meet me in the snug sometime tomorrow, and I'll tell you more. A bus passed, and I got splashed by the rain puddle. Turning back, the music stopped, and he was gone. Just a cap and a scrap of paper. A map of the streetcar route from the cemetery on City Park Avenue to the Museum of World War II. I needed a drink to think, absorb what I saw, heard. Ma is calling. Not stalling. I head there, closer, closer. A well-dressed couple, arm in arm. The man holds the door open for me. There in the bar, sitting on his stool, the seat's gone, is the guy. Glad you could make it, he said. Didn't think you'd come. Your American friend says hi. I don't have an American friend. You do, or had, or will, sometime back, and hands me a Jack.
I become aware again, reawakening, like being born. I came into the middle of everything already going on. The current river flowing, movie of life flowing, carried me like baby Moses into the bulrushes. I find myself traveling and reading poems, being shaped by the rushing water of art. I've been traveling across the globe without leaving my desk chair in my apartment. The beauty and the woe of pandemics is how I meet many people. One of them being Finn Hall, who has some things in common: art, working, writing, driving. He looks in, I look in. We see others artists do the same. Try to see the story behind another, to learn, to grow, to connect to the heart, to the lesson, to the feeling that makes us human. Everyone has a past. The clay is formed, and sometimes something happens to break the mold. Some of the past pieces leave clues to the future. An idea is planted. It may grow wild or bear seedless fruit. From the outside, romance perfumes the possible. I learn now love is love, love of spirit, love of humanity. As an LA cab driver, I drove a gay man home one evening. The bars were closed. Older man, sharply dressed, snow white hair, going home alone, sadly, either by choice or who knows why. Seems lonely just the same. He said something like the parts and pieces don't matter. If you're lucky to be in love with the man, you're lucky. If you're lucky to be in love with a woman, you're lucky. Love is love. Finn and I look into Mary and George. I wonder what we learned looking into each other. I wonder about my Scottish friend.
He had a band. He played in the band with floating members. Members come and go. He mentioned one was Mary. Bad news and sensible shoes. She came for a short time, hiding from a crime. We should go and see the band, he said. We, before we're dead. Rising, we opened a door and entered the past. He had a satchel. He handed it to me so I could see the notebooks inside. The ones I found in an old desk. Then he left. The band played St. James Infirmary blues, and a footfall of shoes came close. And Dane said, "Hi, I brought some news. Chris was dead, shot in the head. Stopping off at the 7-Eleven to buy some more bleach. There wasn't enough in the house to clean the red. Let's find George." He had about his person on being checked by the duty staff various objects that will now be of no earthly use to him, as if on reflection the dead can use a penknife, rusted, blunt and old, a matchbook with a half-torn flap too small and flimsy to strike, a ticket, not a train one, but from a bus journey, now an unimportant memory, an old elastic band, a type the postman used with virtually no purchase left on it. A grey, but not naturally coloured thus handkerchief, caught up beside 75 pence in assorted bronze and silver change. Not much left for over 4 decades of living.